Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ashley. Today, as you can tell by the title, is not going to be the most fun video. It's not going to be the happiest, it's going to be real. That's the best way to describe it. I'm going to be very transparent with you guys because I feel like that's what is needed these days, especially on this subject. I'm going to shed some light on feelings that myself and a lot of other moms that I know have been going through or have went through in the past, or who may go through in the future, So there's a lot of pregnant people and a lot of moms, new moms that I know, and I feel like a lot of people need to hear what I'm gonna say because it's very real, and I think a lot of people are in denial of it. Even family members, even people that are supposed to be like support persons, or just family members in general that are around new moms, I feel like they're in denial of this subject as well. And they don't think it's real, I feel like, because it's not really talked about. And I kind of want to break that and talk about it, I want to be pretty open with you guys. Honesty is a huge thing for me, and I know, like, I paint this picture of like this happy family, we are a happy family, but I'm just saying it may look like from an outsider that there is no problems in our life. And that's not the case, because that's not the case with anyone. Everyone has problems in a family, and I just don't talk about it as much as others, I guess. But not on social media anyways, but this is gonna be the intro to my head, guys. Y'all can get inside my head a little bit. So I do want to start this video with a disclosure, I guess. I will be talking about people who have been in my life, both with Mason, like after he was born, and with Carter. And I'm going to be talking about how I was feeling around people, or how sometimes people made me feel. But this is all just a general speaking. It's not pinpointing any fingers. I'm not trying to offend anyone. So if you know that you're heavily involved in my life and something comes up that maybe happened around you, near you, or you were involved in, don't take it personally, because I'm not trying to blame anyone for this video. I'm not trying to direct this video at anyone either. So this is just my personal experience, my feelings, and I guess my journey along postpartum depression and anxiety. So let's just get right into it. So with Mason, after he was born, his, I think, was a lot worse than what I'm going through now. I guess self-diagnosed myself with postpartum depression. I was in pure denial of it. I did not want to admit to it. I really didn't know what postpartum depression was, and to me, what it was is being depressed, and if you were to talk to anybody about it or vent about it, then you're crazy and you're gonna get your kid taken from you. So I did not want to admit to it. I didn't want to talk about it. I hid it. I put on like this face of just happiness around everyone. Oh wow, it's raining hard. And I tried to be just happy, perfect mom, new mom, I did not ask questions about depression, anxiety, anything really about being a mom. I didn't ask any questions. I told you guys in the birth story, I was very uneducated going into the birth. I was very uneducated going into the recovery. And I think a lot of moms these days need to be well informed, and we're not getting that information that we need prior to giving birth. Like, if I would have known symptoms of postpartum depression or just how to deal with it before I had my son, I think I would have been able to cope and talk about it a lot better. Postpartum depression is really common. 1 in 9 mothers get it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, I was very ashamed. I was guilty. I was embarrassed. I felt like a basket case. I just felt like I wasn't a good enough mom for Mason, and I was very lonely, which I know a lot of moms have come to me and said that they felt the same way. You know, it's like this whole new you that you're meeting after having a baby. Like, people say a baby changes you. They don't understand how much a baby, like, just changes your mental perception of things after they're born. And I felt so alone. I had what felt like, again, I'm sure this is different, but this is just what I was feeling. I felt like I had no one there for me, no support system. I felt like I had no friends that at least understood what I was going through. Like, they would let me talk about it, but to me, I would talk about it and then it would just go to the next subject. Like, it wasn't taken very seriously. And I don't blame anyone for that. Like, I think I just got into my feelings a little too much, maybe. But that's another thing, is I shouldn't feel like that. I shouldn't feel like I'm a burden, or I'm bothering anyone with how I'm feeling, or I'm bothering anyone by talking about it, because with postpartum depression, you need to talk about it. You need to make it aware to other people so that they can look out for you and look out for your symptoms, and so you can look out for yourself. Because if you're bottling all this up, all this negative energy that you're thinking and feeling, it's not going to make it any better. And it took me a long time to realize that. I told you I felt very alone, very sad. I felt like I was just strictly a mom. I felt like I lost all of myself. And I didn't know how to deal with that because no one ever told me. No one ever said that that was a normal feeling to have. And I felt guilty. I just felt all of this guilt every time I would look at Mason and see how perfect and how in love with me he was and how dependent he was on me. And I just felt like I wasn't good enough for him. And I felt like he deserved a much better mom than what I was able to give him. And it sucks to feel that way. And it sucks to feel alone. And it sucks to feel like they deserve more. And I didn't know how to talk about it. And I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't think anyone would understand. I turned to drinking. When Mason would go to sleep, I would just drink until I pretty much felt happy. And if you know, alcohol is a depressant, so it literally does not make you feel any better once you're sober. So I would drink at night. And I'm so embarrassed to say this because I'm not an alcoholic and I'm not a person that drinks to cope with feelings, but that's who I was at that time. And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because Mason didn't deserve that. He didn't do anything, you know? But I felt like I was just so not good enough for him, that he needed a better mom, someone that, you know, made a lot of money and was able to stay at home somehow. Like, I wasn't that. I was working 5-6 days a week. I didn't see a lot of his first. I didn't see like his first rolling over, his first like just little things that mean a lot to a mom, especially a first-time mom. And which made me feel even more guilty. I felt like I wasn't giving him the life he deserved. And I felt like that for a long time, probably until I met Tanner. When me and Tanner started dating around like 6 months, he gave me this abundance of support, and his family did too. And I felt like I just had so many people behind me. I was terrified of dating someone after having a child, because one, I didn't want to like attach my child to anyone and then something happened. And I didn't want to be the mom that's like bringing a different guy around my son every other week. You know what I mean? So I waited a little bit to introduce them, and Tanner showed me a lot of support and a lot of love, and showed it to Mason as well. And I stopped drinking as much. I felt happier. I was like secluding myself from friends and angry. I was really angry, like at the world and at myself. And he really helped with that. He really helped bring me like center and calm me and make me happy again, which in turn made me a happy mom. I'm a mess. I'm sorry, guys. I guess that's really the biggest with Mason is I felt very alone and very sad and like I wasn't up to par with what I wanted to be as a mom. So that got better around like 6-7 months, and I'm really glad it did. So when we got pregnant with Carter, I was worried of the same things happening again, and Tanner didn't really see me at like the worst of the postpartum depression. He saw me like as he was making it better, you know. So I told him all of like the signs that I felt I had, and I would like coop myself up all day when I was with Mason, like when I had Mason, you know. And I told him like this time around I need support before I start feeling like that. So I made a promise to him and to myself that like once I had her, to try and avoid postpartum depression, I would like take a shower every day. I would get out of the house at least once a day, even if it was just for a walk around the block or just like a drive down the street. I would make sure that I was still talking to family and friends and just like talking about the feelings I was having, because before I was bottling them up. So, and he was like, yeah, like I want you to do all those things. I want to be there to help you and to help like, you know, avoid that whole thing happening again. And honestly, there really is no avoiding it. You can do everything you can to try to prevent it or to make yourself feel better when you're in that situation, but you can't avoid it completely. So this time around, when we had Carter, I had what they call the baby blues. So it was like the first 2 weeks after having her, I did kind of the similar things. I sat myself on one couch all day, the same seat, and I would change her, feed her, nap with her, repeat. Change her, feed her, nap with her, repeat. I wasn't eating at first, and I was losing weight like drastically. And if you know me, you know I don't like being super skinny. And I was 116 before I got pregnant with her. I'm 109 now. And that's me now trying to gain weight. And in the beginning, I was just so like sickly feeling. I hated it, and I was just kind of hoping it would come back once I started getting my appetite back. And I'm just stuck at this 109. I know a lot of people don't think like there's body shaming for skinny people, but there is. And I would have family be like, are you eating enough? When I was pregnant with Mason, you know, and then people telling me to eat more or like eat a burger as if I'm like starving my kid. And when I was pregnant, I was definitely not doing that. I don't do that to myself anyways, but like right after having her and him, I just like didn't have an appetite. It wasn't like I was meaning to do that. I just couldn't eat. Like I would just feel full after like 4 bites. Now it's getting better. I'm 3 months postpartum and I have an appetite back. I can eat. Still not gaining weight, but this time around, the sadness was more of like, I felt like I was isolating myself again. And overall this time, I think I'm happy. I think I'm a happy person. I don't think I'm like depressed as most people would say, you know? I don't think I'm the category of depressed. But I think it's because this time I do get myself out more. I do talk to people more. I do talk about the feelings I'm having more. But this time I'm still getting kind of the same response as last time when I didn't talk about it as much. I'm getting the like offensive remarks if I'm like offending people by not talking to them or by not saying what they want to hear, I guess, or not doing what they want to say or hear. And I myself am getting offended over like little things. I've been seeing a counselor this time though, because I've been trying to talk about it more, so that way I'm like trying to avoid the whole sadness part of it, which I think has helped a lot. I think if I wasn't seeing the counselor, I would be a lot different than I am right now. This time I'm staying at home, so I'm able to like see her first of everything. but a lot of moms can't do that, you know? And I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky with my family setup and how Tanner gives me the opportunity to stay at home with Carter and Mason. And not a lot of people have that opportunity, so I'm very grateful for it. But I have like an anxiety now. It's not really so much postpartum depression, but it's like postpartum anxiety. That's what the therapist says. Because I have like a fear of people holding her too long, or like being away from her too long. I'm terrified I'm gonna miss something. Like I feel like something's gonna happen, I'm gonna miss it. Like she rolled over for the first time last week. Luckily I was there to see it, but if I wasn't, I probably would have freaked out. Like I probably would have been very upset. Like her first laugh, I want to be there for that. You know what I mean? Just like little things that I fear if I leave her for too long, it's gonna happen. Or like if I'm not around, something will happen to her. And like I get in my head and I go through like this cycle of like worst case scenarios, and then I start to believe them. I'm like, well, this could really happen. And it sucks. I don't want to feel like that, you know? And then that like anxiety turns to like anger at myself for feeling that, and embarrassed for feeling that, and ashamed for feeling that. And like same as last time, no one really understands it because they're not in my head. They're not going through it with me, you know? I feel like the only people who understand it is people who have gone through it themselves. People who have postpartum depression, people who have postpartum anxiety. Like, it's a big deal, and it's not looked at like it's a big deal, you know? Mental health is very important, and I think if we're not recognizing the fact that we're not in the best mental health shape that we could be, I think it's really detrimental to our physical health, you know? And to who we are as moms and as wives or girlfriends. Like, I just feel it needs to be recognized, and we need more people to support people that are feeling like how I feel, you know, or how you feel. And people need to not judge so much when they hear that someone has postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. People need to understand that it's not just like a little thing. Like, it's not like a mood we get into where we're like, okay, like everything you do offends me, you know? It's like how we constantly are. And in the back of my head, I'm always like, okay, well, was that meant to be taken that way? Like, I'm always thinking that things that people do or say are meant like spiteful, you know? And then I'm sure they're not always, but I think that our support people around us, or just friends, need to acknowledge the fact that moms have this thing that they're dealing with, just to be sensitive with them and around them, and to respect them. That's a huge thing, is understand that we can't change our feelings. We can't avoid how we're feeling, and we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to like hide it. We should feel respected and supported, and that people want us to be our best, you know? And we can't do it alone. Like, we need help, you know? We need a support system. And if you have a friend who's a new mom, and you're one of those people that are only concerned about the baby, 'cause that's how everyone is. Everyone sees a new baby and they're like, new baby, how cute. Check on your mom friends. Check on your new mom friends, your old mom friends. Because they may not want to admit it. They may not want to talk about it because you'll judge them and think that they're bad parents, but they need it. So if you're a new mom, or you're expecting mother, and you just have questions or you want to talk about it, I'm open. You guys can always message me on Instagram. Just, if you're my friend, call me, text me, whatever. But I'll always be here to help everyone out and try to relate as much as I can, because it's not easy to deal with, and it's not something that we should hide. But yeah. Sorry if this video was so like down and depressing, guys, but I just felt it needed to be talked about, and you guys needed to know that I don't have this like picture perfect life. That you may think, you know, everyone has problems. I have problems, you guys have problems, everyone has problems. And to act like we're perfect, it just isn't real. So I wanted to be transparent with you guys and for you guys to see that it is common and you're not alone if you're going through it or if you've went through it. Yeah, I promise the next video will be happier. But that's really it, guys. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell for post notifications so you guys will be notified every time we post a new video, okay? Bye, guys.